Howdy everybody, I'm back. Observation day. So I've noticed, not just coming to me, but coming to a lot of organizations and different people that I know. And these are people mainly that, we're in the education, coaching business for trading the financial markets. Doesn't matter whether it's cryptocurrency, the futures, stocks, options, currency, doesn't matter what it is. People are calling up. Well, when should I buy? Is this a good time to buy? It's like, well, have you done any homework? Have you watched the, little videos that we have posted? No. Just tell me, is this a good time to buy? What in the heck happened to society where we decided to stop doing any of the necessary work? Because you know what? If you rely strictly and solely on someone else's decision, then you need to be in their head, but you're not, and you're not in your head. So I may say, yeah, this is a good time to buy, but you haven't asked when to sell. And a week later, you're going to say, oh yeah, that stupid stock really went down. And I'm going to say, well, why didn't you sell? You could have been up $5,000, $10,000. And yeah, you waited too long and it came down. If you haven't done your homework, then why don't you just throw your money into a mutual fund? Throw the dart at the board, just leave it there. Hope and pray, light a few candles, go to church, light a few candles, and hope and pray that everything comes and works out the way you want. Because really, it's more than gambling. If you're not making your own decisions, it means you don't really have an interest. So this actually came from a book I was reading about magnetism, electricity, and some other interesting topics like that. And it was an old book, 1940s, so nothing new. So really what this came down to was that this guy, horribly written book, but it was the most interesting book if you can get through the poor language and the lack of detail. It was all one great big science experiment. And it just clicked on me that, this guy was observing all these different ways to wire things, to hook up magnets, and to create, information. And that's what he was doing. He was learning how magnets and electricity work. And he really had a really good understanding of it. And he really did some magical things around the world. I may come back and tell you more about him later, but for now, that's it, really. But it was more about the study. It was the interest of, well, how does it all work? Well, what if I do this? And what if I do that? And what if I use alternating current as opposed to DC, direct current? Very interesting. And this guy knew his material. So observation. If you're going to be trading in the financial markets or anything, if you're going to be doing anything and you want to be an expert at it, you've got to do your homework. You've got to become that expert at whatever it is you want to be doing. Don't be calling up a stockbroker to ask when to buy and sell. They don't know. Most of them don't know. Why don't you learn how to trade? That would be one good thing. If you want to become an electrician, go and experiment with it. I'm not saying do anything stupid, but we've got pigtails and light bulbs. You can test circuits that are open and closed and find out how everything is all working, and you can make a lot of deductive reasoning. Read some books. But, again, we've got to do some homework. We've got to learn to do things, and we've got to become a little bit more of an expert before we just set off and start doing things and thinking that we're going to be rich and famous. Quit the nonsense. Seriously. Rich and famous? No. I won't say anything negative about it, but you know what? Why don't you become an expert first? Then you will be rich in all ways. And I'm not talking just about money, but then, you'll be rich in emotional ways. And you'll just feel great because you'll know your material better than probably anybody, at least from your perspective. And that's the other thing about when you start to trade the financial markets. You ask, is this a good time to buy? Well, I look at the charts and say, yeah, it's a great time to buy. But I'm looking to get in and out within about, 15 to 35 minutes. And you're thinking you want to go in it for about a week to 2 weeks. Complete different chart setup. And nothing really is going to set straight. So, learn your material first. Don't be silly. Don't be blaming anyone else. If you take their advice, that's your problem. You need to do your homework first. And that is got to be the most important thing of the day. Observe things. Observe who's selling you what. Observe why maybe they're selling you. And it doesn't take much or very long to figure this all out. And then you can observe, let's say the markets, for example. Was this a good buy signal? Well, wait a couple of weeks, see what happens. What else do you see, feel, and hear in the news? and maybe that'll help. Now you can see we're getting our lawn mowed today. Gosh, that's big. Beautiful. So, again, observation. We've got to observe things in order to be that expert. And being the expert in our life is really the most important thing. And it's not that you're only going to be an expert at one thing. You should be an expert at multiple things. We know how to eat. We know what we should eat. We know what we shouldn't eat. We know how to do fitness. You don't all have to go to the gym. But there are opportunities to, there we go, put on some muscle and change our body shape and everything else. I'm not saying you're going to be a genius, but become an expert in what works for you and for your mindset and for your psychology. Hope this one was useful. This was a different one for today, but I hope that was really, really useful. And obviously what I do is I teach and coach people how to trade the financial markets. It's fun. I love it. I trade from my perspective, but you can apply it to all different time frames. Just a question of what's your mindset. Toodles, guys. Bye.